going on, guys? Boulevard here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are all having a good day today. You know, with Battlefield 6, or Battlefield is what they're calling it, just around the corner, getting released later this year, I thought, you know what, it'd be a good idea to maybe talk about some of the actual real-life Battlefield that could be happening, I don't know, days, weeks, months. I'm telling you right now, stuff is brewing in this world. And if you guys don't know exactly what I'm talking about, what if I mentioned something like this? What about, do you know that Russian soldiers, 4,000 soldiers and tanks and APCs are building up on the Ukrainian border? You hear about that? No? Okay, what about China practicing air patrol drills and beaching operations close to Taiwan? You know anything about that? No? Well, that stuff's happening, and the United States is not talking anything about that. Check ABC, all these news networks, nobody's talking about it. I'm going to tell you guys about it. I'm going to talk about this. You have a few articles that are reporting on stuff that's building up, and honest to God, man, it does make me concerned because as Ukraine's an ally, you have Taiwan as an ally. What is the United States going to do? What is the U.S. going to do? What is the world going to do? Again, like I said, these news stories are not being talked about in the mainstream. So when stuff happens, and I'm imagining it is, it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a huge surprise to a lot of people, and it makes me concerned on what is going to be the reaction. Are we just going to let it go? You know what? Are we just going to let Russia take over Ukraine? Are we going to let Taiwan be taken over by China? What is going to be the response, and what is the world going to do? Makes me wonder, but I'm going to tell you right now, my prediction, we're just going to let them do it, and we're not going to let anything happen. We're not going to do anything about it. We'll just, you know what, Russia take Ukraine, Taiwan, you know what, China can have it. That's how I feel that the response is going to be. So I got two news stories, The Sun US as well as BBC, talking about these just two news stories. Let me know in the comments below. One, have you heard anything about this? And two, if you haven't, what do you guys think about the conflicts that are starting to brew up? All right, so The Sun US is reporting that Russian troops and tanks are massing on the border of Ukraine as fears of a new war loom. Vladimir Putin is believed to deploy 4,000 soldiers along with tanks and other armored vehicles as tensions heat up between the two nations. So if you guys don't know, going all the way back to 2014, where there was already a conflict between Ukraine and Russia when Russia pretty much sanctioned some separatists taking over the Crimea area. I don't know if anybody else remembers that. I remember it because it wasn't that long ago. But there is a conflict between these two countries. So the Sun, the Sun US, it shows a lot of different pictures from tanks, APCs, and even soldiers moving up onto the border. A lot of rail lines with tanks on them. You see some of the APCs on the roads and whatnot. So tensions are building up and forces are building up on both sides. The world is watching with bated breath to see what Russia does next as Putin's top diplomats warned a new war could destroy Ukraine. U.S. military officials have held phone calls with both sides as they attempt to de-escalate the situation. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. What does Russia care about? I mean, if we're seeing Ukraine as an ally or, you know, something that goes against Russia, you would think the U.S. would be like, hey, let me help you out. I don't know if it'll happen. And the Pentagon reportedly elevated the alert level of U.S. troops in Europe to its highest status, saying we're watching the situation very carefully. So again, with soldiers in that region, Germany and the such, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Kiev intelligence services have warned Russia may attempt an armored incursion into Ukraine. Again, if you're building up that many forces, tanks, APCs, and stuff like that, I don't think Russia would have the money or just, nonchalantly, let's just build up forces and send a message. I don't think that's going to be the case. Tanks, military trucks, and howitzers can be all seen allegedly being shipped to the border to unverified videos on social media. So again, these are unverified stuff, but again, it's happening, and the U.S., at least the Pentagon, is saying that they're raising the alert level to these things. Britain, the U.S., and other nations may either have to go up against Putin with a massive military and nuclear arsenal, which I don't really think nukes are going to be involved, or abandon their allies in Kiev, which I think is going to be the possibility that the U.S. is going to be like, you know what? Yeah, you're on your own. I think that's what's going to happen. Ukraine and Russia have remained technically at war since 2014. So again, like I said, with Crimea and everything that happened several years ago, that's one thing that's still fresh in the minds of everyone there. It's just crazy to know that this is building up. And again, I'm reading this because I've seen very few articles online talking about it. I think I saw somebody on Twitter post it. But again, when it comes to the mainstream media, nothing. No, you're not hearing about this conflict brewing between Ukraine and Russia. It makes me wonder what's going on. It makes me wonder why this is not a bigger news story. Why are we not talking about this? Why are we not talking about... If Russia is such a big adversary to the United States, apparently with what was happening in the elections, why are we not talking about this conflict that's brewing up? What is the issue on why the U.S. media doesn't want to talk about this? So anyway, it continues on with saying, back in 2014, Putin's forces annexed the strategical key Crimea from Ukraine, and pro-Russian forces groups then took up arms against Kiev. So again, even in this article, it talks about this. Look, this is happening. This is happening right now in Ukraine, in the Ukrainian region, with Russia building up forces. And yeah, man, if you were in that region, I don't think many people from Ukraine watch my videos, but man, oh man, shit is brewing up, and it's crazy to know that nobody's talking about it, and makes me concerned. Ukraine has accused Russia of at least having 32,000 troops in occupied Crimea, and said Putin's officers are commanding over 28,000 separatist troops. So, man, Russia has some forces. Russia has some muscle in this region, in this area. Conflict's brewing, man. Battlefield's going to happen in real life, and we're not talking about this. So, anyway, want to let you guys know about that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the Ukraine and Russia conflict that's brewing up. But now let's switch over to the BBC and talk about China. China and Taiwan. So, Taiwan is in my words, an independent country, and they have claimed themselves an independent country, but China says, nah, no. China says Taiwan belongs to them, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Taiwan has independence from China, but China is saying, no, we want China back. So, if you guys don't know that, China has warned Taiwan that any attempt to seek independence means war. Well, Taiwan's an ally to the United States, so what is that going to mean for the United States if China invades Taiwan? And, well, that might be the possibility. China has been doing beaching drills close to Taiwan. They've been doing air patrol. Even in this article, they talk about how Chinese warplanes have been flying near the island. What's the United States going to do? So, let's read this. Warnings come days after China steps up its military activities and flew warplanes near Taiwan. It also comes after new President Joe Biden reaffirms his commitment to Taiwan and sets out his stance in Asia. The U.S. has called China's latest warning unfortunate, adding that tensions did not need to lead to anything like confrontation. China sees democratic Taiwan as a breakaway province, but Taiwan sees itself as a sovereign state with its own constitution, military, and elected leaders. So again, like I said, Taiwan sees itself as its own independent country, and that's what I believe as well. It is its own independent country. China does not see that. It is still, China believes it owns Taiwan. And China does not want to give it away so easily. So, China, I just want to read a little bit of history of that. So, you guys know now, China and Taiwan, tensions are building up. The United States has a commitment to Taiwan that it will be defended, but will it? It's kind of one thing I kind of wonder as well. I want to read a little bit of kind of the history about it. China and Taiwan has had a separate government since the end of the Chinese Civil War back in 1949. Beijing has long tried to limit Taiwan's international activities, and both have vied for influence in the Pacific region. So if you guys don't know as well, when it comes to COVID and everything that's been happening around the world, even the World Health Organization will not identify Taiwan as a sovereign country. It does not. It does not identify Taiwan as a sovereign country, which makes me concerned. What does the world look at when it comes to looking at Taiwan? What does the world see? If the United States says, yep, Taiwan, you're an independent country, what does the rest of the world identify Taiwan as? If the World Health Organization is not identifying Taiwan as a sovereign country. Look, you know what? War is brewing. Battlefield is happening. They have the game coming out, later this year. But Battlefield in Ukraine, in the Ukrainian region between with Russia and China and Taiwan, conflict is coming. Will it actually have something? Will we actually have some conflict? Don't know. days, weeks, months, something's going to happen, and whether a de-escalation or an escalation. And man, I don't think we're ready. As United States citizens, we're not ready. As people that have probably never heard these stories before are not ready. Here's my prediction: if it does happen, this is how I feel it's going to happen. Russia and Ukraine are going to have a conflict. Russia will most likely invade Ukraine. What will be the U.S. response? They will either respond with military forces, or my likely choice is they're probably not. I think that the United States is not going to get involved in Ukraine. I don't think that's the right move. If we're seeing Ukraine as an ally and an enemy that we see Russia as is invading them, you would think that we would step in, be the stepping in for the small dog. But I don't know. I don't think the United States is going to step in. However, if the United States does step in and defends Ukraine, I think that gives China a good timing to invade Taiwan, because the United States is already in conflict with Ukraine or with Russia. Now the United States has to make a decision of, do we get in a conflict with China at the same time with China invading Taiwan? I think that would be a likely scenario if something were to happen. And it would be a wonder to see what the world would be. So anyway, guys, just wanted to talk about it, give you guys my opinion about it, just in case if you guys have never heard about it. But man, oh man, it is coming. It is a brewing. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Ukraine and Russia and China and Taiwan, and I will talk to you guys all later. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Bye.